love. It's Judy on the radio, building dreams and achieving more, telling it just like it is. Most of all, keeping it real. Are you ready for real talk? Changing lives and communities. Real talk. Saving all our families. Real talk. Bringing hope for you and me. Real talk. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Well, good morning. Hello. Welcome to the Real Talk with Judy live radio show. Thank you for giving me an opportunity once again to come into your life, into your mind, into your space for 1 hour. I don't take it for granted, but I greatly appreciate it because you think enough of what I have to say and my guests to come on and join us every time we're on the radio. And so I want to thank you once again for tuning in to the Real Talk with Judy live radio show. We're here to inspire, empower, motivate you, and to make an indelible impact upon your life. And believe you me, I know that's exactly what we're going to do. We will increase your faith. We're going today, excuse me, today we're going to help you see art in a more powerful way. Because you don't know, there's an artist on the inside of you, perhaps. We'll see. So, and everything you want to accomplish is possible. And here on the Real Talk with Judy live radio show, we instill that into your mind, into your faith to get you to understand. According to Philippians 4:13, I can do all things. That's you. Can do all things through Christ, which strengthens you. Okay, so my sisters and brothers, you have to see it before you see it, or you never will see it. That's what art helps you to do as well. It helps you to see it before you see it, or you never will see it. And that's Real Talk. Well, I am Dr. Judy, the host of this amazing and impactful and wonderful show. And to all of you, thank you for joining me again. Once again, I do not take it lightly. You joining in on the radio, Facebook Live, YouTube, and the radio apps. I just thank you so very much for doing that. Again, I am honored and thankful that you have chosen me. So please do me a favor. Please do me a favor. Please do me a favor. Won't you go ahead and call, text. If you're on Facebook, do me a favor and share. Tag and share. Everyone you know, this show is designed to bless you, and we are excited. So go ahead and do that. Contact as many as you can. Share and everything. Tune in and make sure everything is okay. Make sure everything is okay. Make sure everything is okay, and make sure that you get everybody tuned in. Okay, this is going to be an absolutely great show. So, and while you do that, y'all know what I'm going to do. I got to say hello to my mama. So, hello, mama. My mother's in Fort Lauderdale, and we are thankful that she's here. Man, I get so excited with my mom. I get so excited every time I talk to her, every time I see her, every time I think about her. So, y'all know that's all the time. So, I'm always excited about my mom, and I just thank God that she's doing well. Thank God she's doing well. And to my amazing husband, Superintendent Jeremy Mandrell, thank God so very much for him. I really do. Awesome man, awesome husband, awesome pastor, awesome friend, awesome supporter, encourager, prayer. Did I say awesome husband? I can't remember if I did or not. I said it. Josh said you said it. But you know, that's my man right there. 44 years. Come October 17th, we will be married. And so we're working to go towards those. I met someone the other day who had been married 68 years, and they were still holding hands and smiling, and he was just grinning. I'm like, wow. So I asked her, how did you do that? How did you do that? She said, he think he the boss. So women, let them think they the boss. You'll make 68 years. That's what we're going after. I told them we were going after that. So I do thank God for them. To Priscilla, John Lewis, who is my production manager. Now everybody in everywhere using her. I like it. I like it. She get to make a whole bunch of money. So I want to thank God so very much for Priscilla and what she does. And not only does she help all of us look good, but I thank God that her own business and the gift that God has given to her with Alzheimer, dementia, making it work for everybody, helping other people to take care of their loved ones. And she knew nothing about it until she started taking care of her grandmother and her mom at the same time. But she has now turned it into a help for everybody else. She's doing some amazing things. Y'all stay out on the lookout for her because she got some good things happening. Right before I get started into my show, I want to do two things. Number one, I want to shout out Principal Maurice Stokes, his staff at John P. Riley Elementary School, and those children, y'all. Riley is celebrating a B. They are a B school. The first time in so many years, but y'all, they are there. And usually when you hear Riley, people say, I don't want to send my children to Riley, and Riley ain't no good and all of this. But let me tell you, 2025, we're celebrating the B. I want to say to Pastor Stokes, Principal Maurice Stokes, keep up the good work. Dream Builder Family Affairs, the Life Changer, that's the school we partner with. And this year, we're going for an A. But they have a great leader in Principal Stokes. That man, he doesn't play. I want to share this. Mr. Josh, when I went to tell him that we wanted to volunteer with, number one, Derek Jones sent me there. I was going to go to another school. He said, no, you go to Riley. You know, he the boss anyway, right? So we went to Riley, but this is what Mr. Stokes said to me, Principal Stokes said to me. I would never forget this. He said, Pastor Judy, we want you here. You know, you're a great woman, da-da-da-da-da. He said, however, if you know you're not going to stick with it, if you're going to quit, if you're not going to be consistent in partnering with us, helping us with these children, I'd rather you not come. That stuck with me. But sometimes people just want you to come because you're going to do this and do that. But he said, if you're not going to be consistent, and if you're not going to serve these children, I prefer you not come. And I can see why. Because when I tell you, they put their heart and soul in this, Josh, they put their heart and soul in it. So, Principal Stokes, again, congratulations, man. Congratulations. We're so proud of you all. And I want to say happy birthday to my sister, Cindy, all the way in Scotland. Happy birthday, Cindy. Yeah, today, July the 10th, is her birthday. And so I want to say happy birthday. She's one of the greatest sisters a person can have, all the way in Scotland. So now I get into my show. And the show is we're going to talk about today the power of art. But I have with me a young man that I have watched from a distance. You know, every time I see him, we're gonna hug each other. Isn't he handsome? Yeah, he's just handsome, right? Tall, dark, and handsome. That's what he is. But he is a man of sincerity. He works hard with people, not just our young people, but our young people especially. He worked hard with them. He worked hard with people. His heart, I got to hear his heart more when he ran for office. And I got to hear his heart and to see him more. But I have him on the show today because also in the what's the Gain Street? Railroad Square. He has an art gallery there, and man, I'm telling you. But his thoughts and the way he could go into our heart. I asked him to be on my show to help me get you to understand even more the power of art. Y'all, I want you to welcome to the Real Talk with Judy, Mr. Josh Johnson.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Judy. I appreciate it. And not just the opportunity, these conversations I think are important. And so having the chance to have them wherever I go is always a privilege. So thank you for being a vessel for that today. Yes. And allowing me to be a vessel for it. Let's pour it out.
Oh, yes, sir. I want everything. I want you to give us in these next minutes, I want you to give to us everything about art.
Mhm.
And you and I talked about my favorite art, and we'll
Sure.
talk about all of that. But right before we go into that, Josh, would you introduce yourself to the
Sure.
audience, please?
Everybody out there, first of all, thank you guys for having me too, because the audience is the most important thing. My name is Josh Johnson. I am a local educator. I'm also the president CEO of 621 Art Gallery, which is one of the oldest and largest contemporary art galleries in the southeastern United States. And I myself am a radio personality. I host some of the programming over on WFSU. It's called The Warehouse, and it's an art and culture based show. And so highlighting art and culture in this community is just one of the many arrows that I have in my quiver.
Some of the many arrows that he have in his quiver.
You like that?
I like
You like
that.
that?
I like that. I like that. Yeah, that's just some of the many arrows that he have in his quiver. But but Josh, I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. So we're going to get into it. And how it came about this, Josh, is that our world is just full of unfortunately, just so much chaos, hatred, uncertainties. People hard of feeling them because of fear, as the Bible states. And then we have this big tragedy. We got tragedy seem like happening everywhere. But in Texas, that tragedy, I think it gripped every human being heart, regardless of what it had to. And to hear of all of those children and people who were just out there to have fun, to learn and to fellowship, now washed away by the water. And then different things that have been taken away because of whatever, and this and that. It's just heartbreaking. But then as I looked, Josh, and I saw it, I said, what a great show to come on now, because we're going to need prayer to help us to get past this. But one of the greatest artists in the world, to me, is God himself.
I heard that. He etches the countenance of our face and the very landscape we look at. I agree with you. I agree.
And so, Josh, when I say the power of art, Minister Howard, thank you so very much. She comes on and she puts a slew of people on here to join in. So, Minister Howard, I thank you so very much for all of the people that you invite to come on this show. Thank you. Josh, when I say the power of art, what comes to your mind?
Oh my goodness. So let's talk about it.
Yes, let's go.
So that's such a big thing, because power in itself is a big thing. How something is moved, how something that we do can move other people or our communities, or how our imagination can shape our very realities. And then when you add art onto that, art is a big old word. Art can be dance, art can be music, art can be visual arts can be literature and the very words that we speak. And so art being so big and the word power being so big, we're going to have to eat off this bone all day, because it's just such a big conversation to have. But more directly, to start us off, I would say that when I think initially of the power of art, I think about how we inspire, right? Or how we are inspired, right? There's a responsibility both ways, to inspire and to be inspired. And I forget who it was, but it might have been Victor Hugo, but he said the highest human endeavor is to inspire somebody else.
Yes.
And so that's what I hear when I hear the power of art.
Yeah. And I was thinking about it, Josh, how art. I see my sister Carolyn on here. She's in Carolina. No, she's not. Where's she at? Louisiana. Right now, we want to thank God for her. But you're right, Josh. I thought about how art. You mentioned the different forms of art, and how if we go into a setting and a music is playing a certain way, If it's a slow kind of, it changed though. It make the whole atmosphere really slow and kind of relaxing. But if you want upbeat, you put a little, add some extra stuff to. I love the steel drum. I love reggae music, the Caribbean music. It does something to. That's why I like to go to the Caribbean.
But some of your audience might know I just got back in from Jamaica for a couple of weeks. And as I was down there, hearing some of the people busking on the street, right? We hear reggae on the radio all the time, but hearing some of that authentic reggae with people busking on the side of the street and just giving it to you raw, it was such, like you said, a mood shifter, even with the heat, right? Even with whatever else was going on, that music just made you want to move. And art, just like that, makes you want to move. Now, that could be socially, that could be politically, that could be community activism, that could be education. I don't know what facet in the church, I don't know what facet is going to make you move, but art has a power to it. And when we tap into that power, I think we make ourselves higher and better and more complete.
I believe too. You mentioned something earlier about imagination, and that's what art does. And so when I'm in that atmosphere, in the Caribbean atmosphere, or even with jazz and different things, I like to write with those type of music with jazz and the Caribbean music. It does something to my mind, and it just put me in a
helps you unblock.
It helps me unblock. Exactly. That's a good one, y'all. Art helps you unblock, and it really does. It releases something in you. And maybe that's why God had Satan in one of the scriptures talked about how the music, the instruments, when he walked, there was music. And God just created. That's here go my imagination. He just started creating. Because we look at this work, I mean, the way God, even our own bodies, how he put us together and have things working, and all of us are so different. And the roses, how he put those together, how he painted those roses. His art is so great, and he put that in us. He made us, he created us in his image and after his likeness. So we can take the art, Josh, and create and delve into our emotion and make it come alive.
You know one thing, you really tapped into something in that image of God. I've always said that when you see somebody performing at their highest level in their art form, or just in their most carefree level, that it's almost like you get to tap into just a little piece of God, which is why I think artists can be so inspirational, because they may not have the Gospels memorized, they may not have, be preaching from pulpits, but it's something about seeing Gregory Hines tap dance or Al Green sing, right? It's something about reading the Toni Morrison book that you just can't get anywhere. And so that inspiration, I would like to believe that it comes from, those gifts come from a God, but however you see it, you can't deny those gifts.
Yeah, you really can't. You can't, not at all. Art is so incredibly therapeutic.
Mm-hmm. But and this is not us disagreeing, but oftentimes when we talk about art, there is always the words around it that we put around it, creativity and available to your own imagination and all the cool stuff.
Yeah.
People also forget that art is an economic engine, that there are so many facets of commerce that need the arts to survive, whether that's municipalities and cities, whether that's huge corporations. I don't know. I know that artists can no longer just be seen as people that we use to inspire us, because that inspiration also has a price tag. In the quote another scripture, even though I'm not a preacher, so I don't want to.
I know you're not. I was raised by one. You told me about that. You're not a preacher. His father is a pastor, but he hasn't tapped into the preacherhood yet. Y'all hear me? What I say?
Put that yet on there?
Yes, I put that yet. Now he don't want me to put that yet on there. I know you don't want to be a preacher. You're a preacher kid, and whatever you did growing up, I know the preacher kid. I ain't gonna be no preacher. I ain't gonna be no pastor. I ain't gonna be nothing. I'm just But anyway, go ahead, Pastor. Go ahead, John.
There's a verse there that says, don't muzzle the ox that treads out the corn, right? If somebody's doing the work, they also should reap the benefits of that work. And so often we reap the benefits of the artist's work. We get married to their songs. We hang their pieces in our house. Their books decorate our personal lives. And very often they're left with these gifts on display, but no way to eat. And so a large part of my work at the gallery, with the programming that I do, and just the work that I do writ large in the art community, is making sure that artists are not just highlighted in this type of mascot way, but we also see that they're drivers of industry and they need to be supported. And so whether it's First Fridays or whether it's the programming that we do at 621 directly, whatever it is, artists can no longer just be seen as people put out here to inspire us, because that inspiration comes at a cost, and we have to support what we believe in, and we all believe in the arts.
Talk a little bit about that, because sometimes we see the painting of artists, or we see the mural that they're doing, or we pass by and we see this and we see that. I agree with you. Economically, it seemed like that's not. I remember my goddaughter wanted to. She's an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, my show up for you, she drew that, and she can tape stuff. I like abstract art. That's some of my favorite paintings and arts, simply because I get to look at it,
mm-hmm.
and I get to define what I see, and I get to put myself, and I asked the artist if I can see them. When we were in Italy,
mm-hmm.
we went to that big, I forgot what you call it, big art museum.
Oh, sure. There's several of them.
We went, and the art was so, and we went and saw the Mona Lisa, and I thought it was going to be this big, huge painting. Right? Little pictures like that. And I'm like, is this what we come to see? But
yeah, you guys are probably in the Louvre.
Yeah, that's what we were, and but to see all of those different art from 18, 19, just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But and I asked one person who was standing near one painting, I said, "What is the meaning of this? Did the artist ever leave? Do you have something?" It was beautiful. If you really look at it, it's like they threw some paint up there. And he said, "You tell me."
Oh, that's probably a Jackson Pollock. It's probably the artist.
He said, "You tell me."
Yeah.
I said, but what was he thinking? He said, "You tell me what he was thinking." I said, "How am I going to do that?" Look at it. He said, "Now go into the painting." He told me to go into the painting, Josh. I'm like, go into the painting? How do I do that? But when I did it, when I tell you, I really felt something good. It's like I can see it. I wanted to buy it,
mm-hmm.
but I couldn't get on the plane. That was my excuse. I only couldn't get on the plane. I couldn't afford that piece of art. I was expensive. But I do believe that we have to support the artists.
Absolutely.
I believe that. I believe that we have to do that. But talk a little bit about the low cost of art out amongst us. I think I asked that correctly.
I do, but I just want to, because an advocate for artists is what I am the most. So I'll give you this background. I came to the gallery because as a community player who had some popularity, years and years ago, I was asked to join the board. And through all of these many years, the organization structure has changed. And so now I am to the gallery what I am. What I'm not is an artist. And so I have framed my work in facilitating, supporting, and advocating for the artist, whether it's with that space, whether it's with my voice, whether it's with my dollars, or whether it's with my actions. And one thing that I have to be careful of is, because I tell artists this all the time, when they come to me and they say, well, we're going to be hanging in the gallery this month, what should I price my work at? And I said, I don't get into those conversations because what I will with you, I don't with them, because whatever price you put on it, You have to be doing it sincerely, and you have to be willing to if you think it's too expensive, sometimes people will walk away. But also don't cheapen yourself
Yes.
for just a sale. And some artists do, and they're commercially successful. And I have no problem with that. As a matter of fact, I love that. But pricing art or the low cost of art, when I say supporting the arts, it doesn't just mean buying a painting, even though I hope that everybody does that. It's also, buying a ticket to that local theater, right? Because
Okay.
they need the dollars just like these big venues. If Beyonce is coming into town, just like you throw your money at her or Prince or whoever your favorite artist is, our small theaters in town, our small venues in town need that same support because they are highlighting the arts. And so when I say supporting the arts and artists being an economic engine, I don't mean in any one facet. I mean that we support what we want. You said something in your last question that I thought was so incredible. You said that you like abstract work because it allows you to look at it and define for yourself. I can't think of a higher thing. As a Black man in the South, people put all types of definitions on me. The fact that I may or may not be what you think I am is how I choose to live, just like everybody else. And so even just uh, that relationship that you said you had with the art seems so much like living, because people will put all types of stereotypes on me. When I'm walking in the parking lot, going into the supermarket, I get cars locked just like any other Black man, because sometimes all people see is 6'3" and wild hair and whatever, right? They have defined me in their own heads. Well, I have to live outside of that definition, and I can't live encumbered by what somebody else thinks of me. That is also a huge point of art, right?
I think that's what drew me to you. Not the wild hair, but I mean, you wear it well. You got that salt and pepper up in there. You wear it well. Then you 6'3" and dark skin and but I like the fact that you believe in what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You believe in the cause based on what you believe.
Absolutely.
And you're not easily persuaded. And this is what I picked up on when you were running for office and just watching you. I watch a lot of people from the distance.
Yes, ma'am.
As people watch me from the distance, we probably all do that, right? But one of the things I like is, and even when I came into, what is it, 629?
621.
621, and I saw how you were talking about the paintings or talking about the artists and how you greeted all of us to make all of us feel like we have walked into a place that was there for us, and any piece, you didn't point out one piece, but any piece would be a blessing to us. And then we got to meet some of the artists who's there. I think I bought a couple of pieces because, number one, I wanted to support the art. I wanted to support the artists because there's something about being a small business. But you made us feel good, like that was it. This was the place to be. So what I want to ask you too, Josh, is what initially drew you to art? And how did you come to understand its power?
Locally, we have here locally a giant of the arts. His name is Leon Hicks. He is really just internationally, he's 92 years old this year, but he is internationally acclaimed for his art. And Professor Hicks, little Black man from South Florida, right, who has had this incredible career. He moved here a few years ago, and I had the distinct privilege of managing some of Dr. Hicks's catalog. And so between that little side thing and my community work, it started to blend. What I saw all those years ago now, when it blended, was this is right where I fit in. To take it back, you go, you might make me a preacher today, Dr. Judy. What does it say? May the highest among you serve. I have always thought that the higher you go, the closer you should be to the ground.
Okay.
And art really gives me a
Wow.
chance to serve. Just like you said, when you walk in that gallery, it's humongous, 4,000 square feet. Not only is it not about one individual piece or one individual person, I have really, me and Gabrielle and all the staff and all the interns, that's a work of all of us, but we have tried to maintain this as a community space,
Yes.
right? Sometimes people want to rent out the gallery. No, you just take it. And sometimes we have to take that, a little bit of money just because we have bills to pay. But if it's not a community space, if it's not serving somebody, then you really haven't been doing anything with it. I don't care how much money you made. I don't care how much fame you got. I don't care how many Facebook likes you got. If you haven't served somebody, your endeavor was vacant.
Oh, that is powerful. And I believe that goes with every single thing that we do. Every single thing that we do, our heart has to be to serve somebody, to make that impact on someone else. And it has to come from a pure heart. And that's why God look at our heart, because a lot of action is done, a lot of things are done, but it's not done for the good. And when we're serving people, we tell the preachers at our church, the ministers, as we're in training and different people who work with my staff, we have to go for the heart. Because somebody once said, what comes from the heart goes to the heart. And so in this art, in this peace and all of that, that is good. 92 years old?
Yeah, Dr. Hicks, yeah.
And he's still here?
As a matter of fact, I jog every day. And as a matter of fact, my little condo is right behind your studio here. And so I'll take out and I'll jog to Lake Keller, do a few times around and come back for the Cascade. I was just jogging around Lake Keller yesterday and he was out there. He does plein air painting sometimes where he'll just go out there and paint the landscape. Not only was he out there at 92 years old painting, he had attracted a crowd of people who didn't even know that this was his artist name is Uncle Junior. Most people know him as Uncle Yes. But Leon Hicks, they didn't even know who they were around. He was just out there talking and captivating. It was kind of like the Sermon on the Mount. He was just out there talking his trash and showing these people what he had. And at 92, he still does it. He's still very active, very vibrant. Still has a bit of an active studio. Mm-hmm.
Is he out there often?
He's somewhere often.
He's somewhere.
Not ever the same place because I didn't expect to even see him out there.
Wow.
Yeah, he was out there.
And that's awesome. Let me ask you, so in what ways do you believe art can influence society? Because I heard you mention that a few minutes ago, the culture or individual perspective.
Moreover than how it can, it's really the only thing that ever has. Right? It's the only thing that ever has. Whether it's the hieroglyphs that we see in ancient Egypt, the drawings on the wall, right? Whether it's the poetry of the ancients, whether it's the music, whether it's the fire that they made through trial and error, art is the only thing that has influenced culture and society. And so the fact that sometimes it's put on the same level as a hobby or just something that we can do on the side is one of the things that's been most disappointing in my work, because this is, as you said, this was our biggest gift from God, right? Language, that's art. Movement, that's art. Expression, that's art, right? As a matter of fact, most of the paintings you see are just the emotions of the artist manifest on a canvas. And so you're just seeing their anger, or you're seeing their sadness, or you're seeing that they're in love. And so the fact that that manifestation has been seen as a hobby and in some ways been given a low level of endeavor is what disappoints me. Now, on the opposite end, sometimes the arts, some people would say, are too celebrated, right? Right as whoever your favorite music artist is, why do they get to make millions and millions and millions of dollars a year, and the local educator is just making whatever they make? And so I get those arguments too. And so sometimes striking a balance is important. Or moreover than that, just supporting your community. If everybody supported their block, and a little
Wow.
bit broader than that, their
Yeah.
community,
Yeah.
we'd all be in good shape.
Mhm. And I think this will have to happen. We had prayer last night at St. Peter's Anglican Church, and I looked at the mixture that was there,
Yeah.
black, white, Hispanic. Uh, we were all there
Mhm.
for one common goal. And my desire, Josh, is that those of us who love God and say that we really love Him, I believe that we can't just get out there fighting and all. We're gonna have to be the one that show the love of God through the beauty. And I was thinking about this art piece came so much
Mhm.
through the beauty of the art of love.
Mhm.
I believe that love is a powerful art piece.
Absolutely.
I believe that, and if we can draw that by connecting together with each other, if we, I know my mind going
That's
on,
beautiful.
but
That's
if we
beautiful when
can
you
draw that to come to, it doesn't matter. We're different. I love the puzzle. I'm trying to find me a puzzle charm. Y'all hear me? I'm trying to find me a nice puzzle charm. If anybody out there want to invest in a nice puzzle charm for me to wear around my neck, start looking, make it gold. Gold is my favorite piece of jewelry. But as we look at that, the art can foster so much in us, even with our diversity,
Absolutely.
but it make it beautiful. How do you think we can really foster the empathy and the understanding of a group of people? I hope y'all taking notes, because see, it's stuff like this that we don't spend enough time talking. We got to get people to a place
Yeah.
where we can create, innovate,
Mhm.
and use the art not just as a hobby. Art is more powerful. It is powerful,
Absolutely.
John. How can we do that with a diverse group of people?
I think in your last question, you also used a good word. You asked some great questions. You said you used the word example, being the example. Oftentimes, the highest form of education is exposure.
Yes.
Sometimes a mind that could do great things might not, because it didn't know that there was great things to do. Just exposing a child or just exposing a person to something allows them to say, my goodness,
Yes.
this was out here.
Yeah.
It actually happened to me. I was a football player in high school.
Wide
and
receiver?
No. I was actually a little bigger. So I was a
Oh.
defensive and offensive lineman. Still trim, but it was high school. So I was tall. So they used this however they could use it. But I wasn't as good as I wanted to be. I wasn't bad, but I wasn't as good as I wanted to be. And so I started thinking about other things that I could do. And then I had an injury on my knee, and I was forced to find something, because my dad said, you're not just going to be sitting around this house, right? You're going to be doing something. You're going to be feeding yourself in some way. And so my mama, she heard us fussing, and she said, Josh, you've always had a way with your words. Why don't you join the debate team? I'm not doing that. I'm popular. That's for nerds. I'm not joining the debate team. Well, I joined the debate team, and it set my life. As a matter of fact, all that I am, that was the foundation of it.
Wow.
And I bought this story up because I went to nationals and I won state titles. Just a little poor black boy from a Title I school is out here competing with private schools nationwide and winning. But moreover than that, the road trips that we would take to go to these different places that I had never been before at that time. My debate coach was a teacher by the name of Miss Sears, and she would play music. And it was music that I hadn't heard before. I was raised on Ray Charles, Al Green, Isley Brothers, Motown stuff. And the fact that she was playing Sly Stone and the Beatles, the fact that she was playing the Eagles and, Nirvana, I was being exposed to a world that I didn't even know was out there.
Wow.
And now, as a 36-year-old man, I'm well versed on all different types of art just because she placed that one little seed in me.
Do not underestimate the power of the seed that you place. And I would like to say this to the point of what Josh just said. Be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Be intentional. pay attention. As you said, your mom was paying attention
Yeah.
to you and your dad's conversation. You said argument. I'm not doing that. And pay attention to what's going on around you and see how you can plant that seed in someone.
That's it.
See how you can plant it. Ask God for wisdom on how to plant that seed. I had a meeting with people last night, and two very strong men that I admire a great deal. One of them told me, they said, I have always wanted to work under you.
Mhm.
I watch you, and I just think that you are a powerful woman, and you're going to bring some more out of me and stuff. Josh, I had no idea. And then the older gentleman was like, to sit under your leadership mean everything to me. And I'm sitting there thinking like, wow, wow. But it's intentional.
And it's not always, and you are absolutely right, but sometimes you don't even have to plant the seed in another person. Sometimes you got to plant the seed in yourself. Who is it? Saint Seraphim of Sarab, this old Russian saint, says, the man who frees himself just by that freedom frees 1,000 others. Right?
Whoa.
Sometimes just freeing yourself, people watch you.
Yeah.
People are, like you said, you watch people from a distance. People are watching you, and you don't always have to shine your light on them, but they can still see it shining over there, lighting up other stuff. And so sometimes just being a light, or a little bit of salt, seasoning the world.
Yeah, we're gonna get you as minister elect before I leave here. I had the authority to do that,
You're not gonna get me.
I'm gonna get you, John. I'm gonna get you, John. And when you give your next message, you make sure that you call me so I can be sitting on the front row. I'm gonna smile so big. I'm just gonna smile. So when you're creating, and that's in whatever form
Sure.
it is, as we talk about the art, are you consciously trying to harness something in the or how do you do that?
So my art is writing. That's always been my discipline.
Mm-hmm.
But moreover than that, my art is facilitating artists. And so I'm actually going to answer this from their point of view, stuff
Okay.
that I've heard them say.
Okay.
When they're creating, they are free. It's the closest to being free that they are. And so trying to harness something would actually hurt their art because you might overthink it. It's not the same as, if I'm out at the supermarket and I see a beautiful person, and I go over and ask her out on a date. Sometimes while you're walking over there, thinking about what you're going to say might trip you up. Sometimes you just got to let it come from the heart. And so from what I've heard from just some of the artists that I respect, is that it's a labor of love, but not in the cliche way. It's a labor of love in the way that they need this space to be completely free. It can't be like every other endeavor. It can't be like every other action. They're not trying to harness anything. They're actually trying to let something go. And what they let go falls on that canvas or comes out through the microphone or comes out of their pen. They're letting something go instead of trying to hold on to something.
I'm about to say this. I want you to speak to it of how you feel it or see it. I've heard or read somewhere. I love to read. I love to write.
Me too.
Those are mine. I love doing that. I like sitting here hearing the cars drive by. Doc D had allowed me to sit here before, and it seemed like I can think better. A little noise. When I was at FAM, my roommate, she has to study in complete silence.
You're a rapper too?
I'm a rapper.
Me too, 2 times over.
Oh, and there's no other way to go.
Come on.
Look at here. And we're gonna be in good shape too.
I think so.
Oh yeah. He ain't bring us this for to leave.
To leave
That's
us.
what the old folks say, right?
Absolutely.
And we got to believe that.
Even in the middle of a storm,
Look at here.
we got a good boat.
Oh, we got a good boat.
You hear
We
me?
got a good boat. Now we can't get started on the rap, but we got a good boat. We're gonna be okay.
We're going to be all right.
We're gonna be. Sometimes God is so amazing, and sometimes you just have to sit back and look at it and go, "Wow, God." In our eye, and maybe it's part of the art too. But in our eye, we look at things and go, "That ain't the way it's supposed to be." Da 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 da. But I have learned and yet learning. Sometimes you have to really sit back and watch God do His thing. because he's gonna work it together for our good. That's what the Bible says.
Absolutely. And sometimes disappointment is just a part of life.
It's part of life. Exactly. And that's what we have to learn.
Yeah.
It's just a part of life.
It is.
Just
You
a
gotta
part
keep
of
going.
life. Got to keep going. Man, this is some good stuff. This is some good stuff, Josh. Well, what I was about to life give us a blank canvas.
Mhm.
And I don't know if I'm gonna say this right, but this is just what even when I'm looking over at you, like I can see a white blank canvas.
Mhm.
And we write on it, we painted it, and we shaped it, we put on there. Talk to that point for me.
It's your works, it's your deeds. Everything that you do is a construction of either your masterpiece or a failed attempt. And I'm glad you said that, because a word that's always stuck with me is integrity. Because the person that I heard say this was years ago, they gave the definition when they said integrity is doing the right thing even when nobody's watching. And I remember thinking as a kid, that don't even make sense. The right thing isn't to do when nobody's watching. That's to do when somebody's watching. And then as I thought that, I said, that would make you a liar. And from that point, I said, you know what? It's not even about you or them. It's about me. I'm not going to lie to myself. I'm not going to give anybody enough power over me to lie to myself. And so the work that I do in public is the exact same work that I do in private, because I respect who Joe and Lisa Johnson raised, right? I've got parents and grandparents to honor, and myself. And so every little thing we do is an action that's going to sculpt what is our masterpiece or our failed artwork. And I want mine to be a masterpiece, whether nobody buys it, whether nobody looks at it. It might just be sitting in the middle of the woods, but when somebody comes upon it, they're going to say, man, here lived a great guy. Even if y'all don't know my name, he did something and he sacrificed something. And I don't want to brag. I don't want them to brag on me. I want them to then be inspired to sacrifice themselves.
Oh, that's good, Josh. That's good. That's what it's about, y'all.
I would hope.
That's what it's about. Everything that we do, and as you was talking about, I forgot who you said, what you said. I go back and get the name, but something about freeing ourselves. You got to make sure. What did you say?
Saint Seraphim of Sarov was a Russian saint who says, the man who frees himself in that freedom frees 1,000 others.
Yeah. And so, and now I'm adding that to my next work. I'm in the getting ready to write that second book, but the first one was Show Up For You. And I'm going to stay on that. But that piece right there, y'all, because when we show up for ourselves, we show up for 1,000 others. Then we get to expose others. There's been some good things that we get to expose others to other things. And they need to know our failure as well. They need to know that we haven't just arrived or everything is. They need to know that we failed and we messed up. How did you get over that? I've seen an art piece, and you might know, but it started with an upside down piece, and then at the end it came up, and the person is kind of like waving or something. It's a beautiful piece, but it shows the failure and then the triumph of getting up. Because to me, that's what art is about. That's that power of it. Because on my canvas, on your canvas, y'all, you write and you paint and you draw and you do whatever. When I was in school, I did pottery because I like to be with my hands and being able to shape that vessel, and it was
burn that clay. Yeah.
I enjoyed that in high school, and then now I'm at a place, and I believe that as we come together, we put our art pieces together. It evolved into a beautiful masterpiece, and I believe all of our art come together, Josh, to show forth the beauty of the master artist. And I already told you, Minister Elaire, who my master artist is. That's God. But I honestly believe He put that creativity in each one of us. You are an artist. You have within you. And He said that the artist is not there to harness anything. They're there to release. And I would dare to say to you, release your creativity, whether it's a song, whether it's a writing, a poem, an art piece. You notice what Priscilla has put on the back of the flyer. If you notice the art back,
Yeah.
you see the art,
Yes,
you see
ma'am.
that, isn't that
It
beautiful?
is.
And then the different colors she has the power of art in. It shows the uniqueness of us all.
Hmm.
There is no duplicate painting.
Can't be replicated.
It can't be.
What
It's
is that? The beauty of life is to find your gift. The responsibility is then to give it away. I think you're exactly right.
Y'all see me sit here with a poet, an artist, a preacher. But you're right. You're right. And that's the beauty of life. And this is what Joshua said. Even if his painting is in the wood, if somebody find it, they never call your name. They never say anything. If they never say anything, let your art be a masterpiece that has been done from your heart. Josh, talk for about a minute or two to the people.
Well, in these conversations, the things that I always want either remembered from what I said, or at least the takeaway is art is a great mover. And when we start seeing art and culture as things that not only move communities and our individual lives, families, and friends, but that can move and shape entire societies, we start to understand that it's actually a privilege or a responsibility to support art. And it's not just something that we do on the side. And so I will leave with the mantra that I always carry with me: support your local arts and culture. It's important. You need it more than you think you need it. And we need you more than we think we need you. And it's just always a blessing to be able to go and carry that banner.
You mentioned something about First Friday. Can you talk about that right quickly?
Oh, yeah. First Friday is Tallahassee, one of Tallahassee's oldest continuous festivals. The first Friday of every month. There are all the shops open in Railroad Square. Vendors are out there, families, friends, music, festivities. It's just a beautiful time. And so during these summer months, when a lot of the students have left, sometimes First Fridays can get kind of slow. And so sometimes just coming to a First Friday and walking around, you might not buy anything, but just letting us see your face and wave at us as you come in and hug our neck is just enough to say support to. So it's not always with your money. Sometimes it's with your presence.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. This has been Josh Johnson on the Real Talk with Judy Live Radio show, The Power of Art. And I know beyond a fact that you have truly been inspired and empowered to move forward. Josh, thank you so very much for being on. I greatly appreciate you, greatly admire you. And I will be back at the first Friday, the Railroad Square. I love the art, the theaters that we have here in Tallahassee. And those of you who listen and you're not here in Tallahassee, I have people listening from all over the world. Find your art district. Find an art. And you too, release the artistic ability that's in you to touch somebody else's heart and make it happen. All right, this has been real good. Again, big shout out to Principal Maurice Stokes and his staff at John P. Riley Elementary School. They are a B school, and we want to celebrate them. Yes, that is so awesome. That is so awesome. And once again, happy birthday to one of the greatest sisters in the world, my sister Cindy over in Scotland. Happy birthday, Cindy, and we celebrate you. Y'all can join me every Tuesday night at 7:30 for our virtual Bible study, our Transforming Tuesday Bible study. Elder Witherspoon there is on prayer point number 161 or 67. He has been teaching prayer point for 161 or 67 Tuesdays. 161, 67 Tuesday. He comes with prayer points at 7 p.m. And so we want y'all to join us every Tuesday night. Dr. Torres is in this season of our Bible studies. And so y'all join us. But as I end, and join me every Sunday at 11 a.m. at Life Changers, 601 Mexico Road, Tallahassee, Florida, between Jeremy and Drell. Y'all join us every Tuesday. So, I mean, every Sunday, I'm sorry, at 11 a.m. So as I end, and y'all can still purchase my book. My book is on sale forever. Show Up For You. And so go to Amazon, go to my website, purchase your book. It is a powerful book. I read it again, going through it again, and it is a powerful book. Go purchase it. So as I end today, I want to leave you with this. The power of art is its capacity to move us, challenge us, connect us, and ultimately change us individually and collectively. That's real talk.
Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy